Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we are unpacking a brilliantly suspenseful narrative concept, the Tomorrow Letters. Imagine you're 14, right? Meet our protagonist, Noah Wilson. He's living a perfectly ordinary life, mostly just worried about homework in high school, until he receives a completely mysterious envelope. But it's not the envelope itself that is so strange, it's the return address. The letter is addressed to him, but it's sent simply from tomorrow. Boom. Instantly, we are thrown into a high stakes mystery. This single, impossible piece of mail completely shatters Noah's ordinary reality and sets the stage for an extraordinary sequence of events that masterfully manipulates narrative tension. So let's break down exactly how it does that. 4:17 p.m. Notice how incredibly specific and frankly eerie that detail is. When Noah opens that first envelope from tomorrow, he doesn't find a vague horoscope or a generalized piece of advice. No, he finds a highly specific, urgent warning. The letter explicitly states that his little sister, Emma, is forbidden from leaving the house at exactly 4:17 p.m. It doesn't say, keep her inside this afternoon or watch out around 4 o'clock. It pinpoints the exact minute. In storytelling and real life mysteries alike, it's this kind of granular, undeniable precision that just grips you. It removes any room for coincidence. The specificity builds immense tension, forcing the character and us as the audience to take the threat completely seriously as the clock literally ticks closer and closer to that exact minute. So Noah makes the crucial decision to follow the warning. He ensures that his sister Emma safely stays inside the home at 4:17 p.m., successfully preventing her from heading out. But here's the thing, the world outside doesn't just stop. Because Noah followed the rule, a tragedy is avoided for his family. But right near the local park, a dangerous accident occurs exactly at that predicted time. This is the catalyst. This is the exact moment that kicks off our peeling the onion mystery. By keeping Emma home, she remains safe, but the accident still happened exactly as implied. The letter wasn't a prank, it was a genuine, terrifyingly accurate glimpse into a predetermined future. And Noah now holds the key to that future. Now, this single event is really just the spark, because the narrative rapidly expands its scope. On day one, it was a personal family warning, but by day two, new letters arrive, only now they are predicting broader tragedies like accidents, fires, and various people in imminent danger. As the weeks pass, we see the true cumulative effect of these warnings. Most 14-year-olds are stressed out about passing algebra, but Noah is out here acting as an anonymous hero. He doesn't ignore the warnings, he actively takes charge. By following the meticulous instructions in the letters, he steps in and saves several lives in his community. The rising action here is just masterfully paced, escalating from a personal threat to a widespread rescue mission, all orchestrated by an unseen author. But the burning question remains, where in the world are these letters coming from? Tomorrow, you will be the person who needs saving. Wow, just let that sink in for a sec. After weeks of acting as the protector, after successfully intervening to stop accidents and fires from harming others, Noah receives his most frightening message yet. Up until this point, the letters empowered this kid. They gave him the unprecedented ability to control chaotic events. But this stark, terrifying sentence completely flips the dynamic. The ultimate threat is now introduced, and the stakes shift entirely and directly onto Noah himself. He is no longer the omniscient rescuer. The crosshairs are now right on his back, and the cryptic sender of the letters has just issued a chilling countdown. Now, what's really interesting about this is how that abstract threat manifests as a terrifying reality the very next day. And it happens in the most intimate, vulnerable place possible, Noah's own home. A massive fire breaks out, and his little sister Irma is trapped inside the burning building. This is the absolute ultimate stress test for our protagonist. The sanctuary of his home is totally destroyed, his sister's life hangs in the balance once again, and Noah is thrust into a situation where he has to face the very disaster the mysterious letters had been preparing him for. The narrative pushes him into a corner, forcing him to act without the luxury of foresight for this specific moment. Let's break down the mechanics of this climax, because this is where the story's structure truly beautifully pays off. Noah doesn't just panic, and he doesn't wait passively for a magical letter to flutter down and save him. Instead, he remembers everything he has learned. All those weeks of navigating accidents and smaller fires, that served as a grueling training ground. Noah uses this accumulated knowledge to proactively aid the firefighters who arrive on the scene. Because of his precise interventions and his calm under pressure, they are able to safely rescue Emma from the flames. The victory here feels deeply, deeply earned. Noah didn't just survive. He utilized the grim education provided by his mysterious benefactor to actively change the outcome of a disaster. Okay, before we move on to the resolution, let's pause the narrative pacing right here. We know the letters are impossibly accurate. We know they are deeply invested in the survival of Noah and his sister Emma. And we know the sender signs off simply as tomorrow. Given everything we've just laid out, the precise times, the detailed knowledge of localized accidents, the intense focus on training Noah to survive a fire at his own home, who could possibly possess both the knowledge of these specific future events and the profound motivation to orchestrate Noah's actions? Keep your theories in mind as we turn to the final act. The smoke clears, the fire is extinguished, and Emma is safe. But guys, the story isn't over. In the aftermath of the devastating house fire, Noah discovers one last envelope hidden away, just waiting for him. But unlike all the previous morning deliveries, this envelope doesn't contain a typed warning about a local accident or a cryptic threat. It contains exactly one item, a photograph. And what is depicted in this photograph fundamentally shatters everything Noah thought he understood about his reality. The image clearly shows himself, Noah, alongside his sister Emma, standing together. But they aren't teenagers. The photograph depicts them exactly 20 years in the future. So the crucial point is the staggering contrast here. On one side, we have the 14-year-old Noah, a confused, ordinary teenager who was thrust into a terrifying sequence of events, merely trying to survive and keep his head above water. On the other side, we have Noah 20 years later. The final message accompanying that photograph reveals the mind-bending truth. The letters were not sent by some omniscient stranger or a guardian angel. They were sent by the person Noah would eventually become. Older Noah is the master architect of this entire harrowing journey. Every warning, every terrifying prediction, and even the frightening message that Noah himself would need saving was carefully calculated and delivered by his future self. In structural terms, this narrative device is known as the time loop payoff. It's a mechanism where a future character intervenes in their own past to guarantee not just survival, but absolutely necessary growth. Beyond the cool sci-fi mechanics of time travel, this reveals the deeply relatable human theme right at the center of the story: the extreme, almost impossible lengths a person will go to in order to protect their family. Future Noah didn't just send a letter saying, "Watch out for a fire." He orchestrated a weeks-long training regimen, sending his younger self into dangerous situations to build the courage, the situational awareness, and the exact skills required. When the ultimate test came, the fire that threatened Emma, 14-year-old Noah was incredibly capable of helping the firefighters save her. He literally had to traumatize his younger self to ensure his sister lived to be in that 20-year photograph. It's a beautifully structured concept that uses a sci-fi premise to explore responsibility, growth, and fierce familial love. We've traced the timeline from a simple warning at 4:17 p.m. to a massive revelation spanning decades. I really hope this breakdown has helped you see the brilliant architecture beneath the surface of this narrative. Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. I want to leave you with a question that takes the fiction we've just analyzed and applies it directly to you. If you could send one letter to your past self to protect the ones you love, what would it say? Think about the exact time, the exact warning, and the ripple effects that single envelope might cause. Thank you so much for joining me as we explore the Tomorrow Letters concept. Keep analyzing, keep asking questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.